obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
Lie. No man is obsolete.
It's a cookbook.
Who are we?
When will they take the bandages off?
You're a bad man. You're a very bad man.
This lemon sucker here. He's the most suspicious of the bunch.
My name is Talking Tina, and I'm beginning to hate you.
I believe you're going my way.
Live from Willoughby at the heart of the Twilight Zone. Here are your hosts, Alex and Tyler, the prestigiously perfect podcast in which we call The Twilight Gnome.
What is up, Gnomies? I'm Alex.
And I'm Tyler.
Welcome to the Twilight Gnome Podcast, episode 67. What episode are we unfortunately going to be doing today?
Well, I don't think it's so unfortunate, but this week we are doing the 30 Fathom Grave.
Season 4, Episode 2, original air date January 10th, 1963. This was written by Rod Serling and directed by Perry Lafferty. He did 3 Twilight Zones, and it's kind of funny, I guess, which ones he did. He did the first 3 in Season 4. He did In His Image, The 30 Fathom Grave, and Valley of the Shadow.
Oh, I haven't seen the other 2 yet, so
They're both a lot better than this.
I won't take your word for it because you hated this episode, so.
We'll get right into it, Ty. If you possibly can, what is your favorite moment?
I had 2 favorite moments.
I did too.
I liked the scene where the doctor finds the seaweed outside, and then also the scene where the diver is explaining that one of the men had a hammer, and then like the captain just kind
Doesn't
of
the doctor actually say seaweed too? Like,
Yeah,
I think I wrote
seaweed.
it down and like I had to spell it out. What the fuck is that shit he found on the
I
floor?
mean, I think it's a little helpful because otherwise it'd been like, what the fuck is this? Like,
you never seen seaweed?
it didn't really look quite like seaweed. I don't know what it looked like, but not quite like seaweed, but yeah.
I got 2 as well. I really enjoyed it at the end when he freaks out and he's running down the hall saying, "They're calling muster.
They're calling muster."
And the other one was, so I forget who it was. I think it was the sonar guy was talking to the captain, and he's like, "Sir, who's down there?" And he goes, "Someone who dies damn hard." Like, no fucking way someone could actually live down there for 20 years.
I think that's a very fun, corny, it's like a kind of line that you'd hear in like a action movie, like someone that dies damn hard. He's been down there for 21 years.
We have the technology to rebuild it.
Doctor, what have you created?
I am, for all intent and purposes, AI Serling.
So every week I put a prompt into ChatGPT, come up with a Rod Serling style intro, and this week it came up with this. Portrait of a warship, a proud vessel charting calm waters in the year 1963. But out here, somewhere between coordinates and conscience, a sound has started, a sound not found on any navigation chart nor issued by any naval command, a metallic tapping, steady, deliberate, and haunting. Among the crew is Chief Petty Officer Bell, seasoned, steady, and as much a part of the sea as the salt in the air. But something is calling to Mr. Bell, a pull that goes deeper than duty, deeper in fact than memory itself. Soon this ship will dive not only into the waters below, but into the past, into a graveyard of ghosts and guilt. And in that descent, Chief Bell may discover that sometimes a sea does not forget, and sometimes it calls its own home. Because what lies off the port bow now is not just an echo from the deep, it's a return ticket to the Twilight Zone.
When you said duty, it made me laugh.
Duty.
Deeper than duty.
All right, so every week Tyler and I come up with a few questions for each other, keep each other on our toes while watching said episode. I came up with 4 this week.
I did 8 because I figured we'd have some in common, so you go first.
All right. What numbers the ship at the beginning? The ship that they're on.
The ship that they're on?
Mm-hmm.
Oof. 827.
944.
Oh, okay. Which boat got damaged due to bad weather?
The whale boat?
Yeah, the motor whaleboat.
I was wondering what the hell that is.
I'm guessing it's like a small dinghy, probably.
Hey-o. How many days out was the crew warned of that storm that Bell neglected to do his duties?
8 days?
9 days. So close.
So close. What does DIW stand for?
Drink in water.
No, it stands for dead in water.
Close. What time is it when Belle wakes up in the infirmary?
That was one of my questions. It was 10:25?
Yes.
Aha. This takes place 100 miles off the coast of where?
California.
Guadalcanal.
What number is the submarine?
714. That was also one of mine.
Yes.
All right, those are the next two you got. When did the sub sink? What day and year?
That was my last one. It was 1942, August 7th.
Good job. And my last two questions. What battle did it sink in?
Gettysburg.
It was way off course. What was it doing there?
I don't know any battles in the sea in World War II. I don't know.
It was the Battle of the Solomons, because it was in the middle of the Solomon Islands.
That makes sense because the coordinates that he gives are in the Solomon Islands.
Yep. And yeah, because I did the same thing too. I looked up the exact location. It was like literally right off the Solomon Island called Guadalcanal. And I'm like, oh, well, they actually did their homework on that one. My last question, what side of the boat did he jump off?
Starboard.
Correct.
I do remember that because I almost put that as mine. But I was like, you got a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
All right. This is a long one, guys. We'll try and keep it as short as possible, but buckle up. We'll jump right into the plot of this one. We open up on a battleship out to sea, and a captain asks where they are. An incredible amount of nautical term is used and thrown at us. The first 6 minutes is almost fucking unbearable by itself.
Yeah, I was completely lost in the beginning. They're just throwing out numbers and stuff. But if you look past that, I mean, I like at least the attempt of trying to make it authentic.
Right. Another sailor comes out and tells the captain some bad news that a smaller ship of theirs, a whaleboat, wasn't properly put away, and now the captain is going to go give hell to whoever was in charge to do this. And of course, this was the Chief Bell. The captain is giving him a bunch of shit, pretty much telling him, you're better than this, you've been working here for a long time, like a kid at the age of 17 wouldn't make this type of mistake.
But at the same time, too, after he's done kind of chewing him out, he's like, he kind of takes a softer approach to him, like, I genuinely care about my men on my boat. He likes his seamen. And he's basically, I think as a boss, he doesn't seem like he'd be that bad. He seems like he'd be firm but fair.
Yep. And then I did like this. This was childish, but I really enjoyed. Did you notice he was just like, the last 3 days, your seamanship has gone down and you've pulled a few boners. Yes. Like, hey.
Of course, a Navy or nautical episode, there's going to be a funny amount of seamen and other jokes thrown in there.
Bell leaves the room. He starts kind of acting funny. Another sailor's walking in the halls like, hey, man, you all right? Yeah, I'm good. He has a very strange voice. I was thinking that he sounded like Thomas Hayden Church. You were thinking...
the guy from Rat Race that's brothers with Seth Green.
Yes. They both are valid, I believe.
Yeah.
Next shot, we're in the sonar room, and I'll play a little bit of this because we start hearing a sound, and the sonar technicians are just like, what the fuck is this? What the hell?
Sounds like hammering or something, sir.
Bridge, sonar.
This is getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but for like the porno parody, it would totally be like, we're hearing something weird down there, sir.
There came a sudden tapping, as if someone gently slapping.
Giggity. Yep. So they pretty much tell the captain, hey, we're hearing this weird thing, and the captain is just like, all right, I guess I'll come and take a look at it. And Rod brings us in.
Incident 100 miles off the coast of Guadalcanal, time the present. The United States naval destroyer on what has been a most uneventful cruise. In a moment, they're going to send a man down 30 fathoms and check on a noisemaker, someone or something tapping on metal. You may or may not read the results in a naval report, because Captain Beecham and his crew have just set a course that will lead this ship and everyone on it into the Twilight Zone.
Yeah. So we come back from commercial, and the captain is in the sonar room now, and he hears it, and he tells the guys on the bridge, hey, start heading towards those coordinates. Captain asks the guys in the sonar room to try and communicate, and they said, we already have. They're not talking back. Captain goes back to the bridge. All right, stop all engines. They continue to hear the tapping. That must have been incredibly loud. I'm guessing they were listening to like the sonar on the PA because there's no way they'd hear that.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's sonar on the PA. I don't think if you're standing out in the open water that you would hear it, because 30 fathoms is, I think, what is it, 180 feet, which even underwater, that sound's not going to travel that much up above you. So, like, if you were on a normal boat, you wouldn't be able to hear it. But I think, like you said, because of the sonar, they can hear it amplified.
Yep. Then we see two sailors, and they're like, one of them's like, "What do you think it is?" And the guy's like,
"Ghosts, man, ghosts."
And they're like, "What do you think, Belle?" And Belle just passes out.
And so earlier on, like, he could tell that something was wrong. He was saying, like, "Oh, I just haven't been feeling myself lately." Do you think he actively knew why he was feeling bad and just didn't want to say it? Or do you think even he wasn't quite sure, it was just like this uneasy feeling and he couldn't explain it and he didn't understand why he was feeling that way?
I'm sure that obviously he'd know that it's in the same location. I don't think he knew he was right on top of that, but he would obviously remember it was in this general area.
Unless it was like a memory that he'd blacked out and forgot about, or like suppressed, or whatever the word is.
That could be in his mental breakdown in the end.
And then
definitely
like
could have been something
just
like
subconsciously while he's in the area, and he knows it subconsciously, but his conscious mind doesn't know why he's kind of acting the way he does.
For sure. I could definitely see that. He wakes up in the infirmary. Belle tells the doctor he has a funny feeling that he can't describe. We continue to hear the tapping. The captain's on the deck. He asks his lieutenant, "I need you to stay by my side. I'll be driving a garbage barge here if I don't get enough witnesses to this."
Which is kind of a smart move. Always cover your ass in whatever you're doing.
Captain asks if there is a diver on board. He tells his lieutenant to send him down there and have him knock on the door of the submarine. And then next shot, we meet the diver.
McClure.
Yep. He looked very familiar, but I looked up his IMDb and nothing I really noticed.
He just has generic 50s face.
Yep. Captain kind of gives him the lay of the land, tells him, "Get your equipment on, you're going down there," for the first of many, many times, which it should have been like 2 or 3 max if this was a 24-minute.
And I thought it was so weird, like, everything else is covered up except your hands. Like, shouldn't they be pressurized too?
I mean, 180 feet, I don't think you'd have to, right?
No, but everything else is. Like, you're wearing weighted boots, you're wearing the whole metal helmet, and every other part of your body's covered with a suit. Why not the hands, too? Like, why not gloves?
If you're trying to do something like open, it is a huge pain in the ass to do simple tasks with gloves on.
But also, like, I don't know, if the water's really cold, it would help to just have a dry suit over all parts of you. It just seemed weird that the gloves were the one part missing.
Probably because they filmed it in a pool.
No, but I think it was real. Like, I think the suits back in the day used to also be missing the gloves, too. Yeah, remember, in DeMillo's, there's a statue, or not a statue, but, like, the only part that isn't a suit is, like, a wooden hand, like Chubb's hand from Happy Gilmore, where it's just, like, a fake hand where the hands would have normally popped through the suit.
Maybe every diver back in the day had no hands.
They just had wooden hands.
The next shot, the diver is going down into the water. Very long shot.
But a cool shot.
It is cool. Lots of really cool shots, like all the submarine shots of it, and it just drags so fucking much. And I already have that in my notes, like already starting to drag.
It's a mystery though, so I didn't mind. It didn't feel like dragging to me, especially the first time watching it. It felt like I was genuinely on the edge of my seat, like curious as to, okay, what is the knocking? What is it gonna be coming from? How's it gonna resolve?
For sure. He radios to the captain, says he doesn't hear anything. He said, the captain asks, "Hey, well, can you at least identify the ship?" And again, if this was a 24-minute, he wouldn't have to do it like the fourth. Like, he would have identified it and got the dog tags.
But again, it builds the mystery of like, oh, I can't identify it. The ship's like kind of stuck in. And later on, he explains it as being the ship isn't deep. It's deep, yes, but not tight.
Yeah, he says he can't do it. He can't identify it. So,
and he can't get in either. All the doors are kind of like broken and unable to be opened.
Yep. We hear the sound again. Captain tells the diver, "Respond now." This time, he actually does, and it responds to him. And I'll play some of this because the captain or someone's like, "This is wild. There really is someone in there."
Call sonar. Try telephone again.
Sonar bridge. Try your underwater telephone again.
Roger.
Unknown station, this is Lady. Over. Unknown station, this is Lady. Over.
And no response.
And then, like you said, I think he knocks on it and they get a knock back.
It's at this point the captain goes over what it possibly could be. Diver comes back up. We're back in the infirmary. Belle wakes up.
And he sits up so fast that the
goofy
doctor
one.
has to hold him, and he holds him so tenderly. It looks like they're going to like embrace or something for a second.
And he's like, "Any news from down below?" And the doctor's like, "Not much." And then Belle tells the doctor he has a a funny feeling down in his pants this time.
Go ahead, Chief.
This feeling of mine,
What kind of feeling, Chief?
I get this feeling I can't stay in one place. I gotta get up and go out. It's this crazy feeling that I'm...
That you what, Chief?
That somebody is ordering me someplace, is pulling me someplace.
The next shot, the diver's talking to the captain, says that there's someone down there for sure. Ship looks like it's one of ours. They hear something and the sub is moving. Captain tells the diver, get back down there. You gotta go see if you can read the numbers now.
And do you think the ghost of the ship got it unstuck for them so that they could figure out?
Maybe?
Because it's been lying underwater for 21 years, and it just so happens the minute someone gets close that it frees itself.
Right, maybe. He's like, if they are in there and they're alive and we can't use the torpedo tubes to escape, how do we get them out? Diver goes back down. He can read the numbers now. It's 714. Captain says he'll buy him a steak dinner. He looks it up and says that it was actually sunk in action in 1942.
Yeah, during World War II.
Like, that was 20 years ago. Who's inside that thing? And then we get this awesome line.
Well, Captain Beecham, who's down there? Who's inside that sub?
Somebody who dies damn hard.
The next scene, the doctor goes to see the captain in the captain's quarters. He's like, I'd like to talk to you about one of your men, Bill. I have him down here in sick bay. He needs help, psychiatric help. And then the captain's like, I find it funny. He's been in the Navy for 20 years. Why is he cracking now? Captain says he'll get him help when they get back to mainland. Next scene, we see two random guys. I think it's like his lieutenant or something, drinking tea, ripping butts. Captain comes in, he's like, I don't know what scares me more. 20-year-old sunken ship with someone inside, or what they're going to do to me when I try and tell my story to my higher-ups. And Captain tells the two men about Bell, you guys know why he's so wound up? And one guy kind of gives him the backstory. They pulled him out of the water when his submarine sank, probably bringing back some memories from the war, which should have been an indicator.
Of like, the minute that you hear that Bell has been in the military for 21 years and the boat sank 21 years ago, you're like, okay, well, these two story parts are kind of lining up here.
Next shot, Bell's in the infirmary again. It just gets this fucking episode, man. It's just Bell's in the infirmary. Let's send the diver back down. It's so fucking repetitive. And I know it's season 4, but this could be a good episode if it was 24 minutes. But having to just stretch it out really kills this one.
I disagree. I think the stretching of the out.
I
disagree. I think stretching it out works for the mystery component of it.
The next shot, Bell's back in the infirmary, and he's hearing the tapping, and he's in the mirror, and he sees ghosts with the guys doing like the
ghost mirror.
Very cool effect. There are some cool shots in this.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just the length of this really fucking kills it for me. He sees the ghost in the mirror.
Breaks the mirror by throwing something at it.
Yep. The doctor's like, what happened? There were men in the mirror. Doctor comes in and tells him that we're going to whip this kid. Don't worry, we're going to whip this. And then we're back in the sonar room. One of the guys says it's just a piece of equipment down there swinging up against metal. That's all it is, trying to tell themselves.
I mean, that would be the logical explanation. If I was on this ship, I'd probably be saying the same thing to him. Like, it's probably just some loose piece of metal that happens to be banging around.
Right. The captain says, whatever it is, it's losing steam. We need to go down there again. But we don't knock on the door this time. We kick it open. Get a sub-rescue ship here. Then we're back in the infirmary again. Bell hears they're tapping again.
Thinks that there's someone in the hallway.
Yeah.
So he's fighting like hell to try to get out in the hallway. Eventually does, and it's at this point that he sees the ghosts again beckoning towards him and like pointing at him.
Really cool shot. I do really enjoy that. They did a lot better than the shot from Judgment Night in season 1.
Yeah.
It's very similar.
And it must just be like a simple Pepper's Ghost, something
Yeah.
like that, but it works really well.
Doctor tries to tell him that there's no one out there. It's all in his head. The doctor goes back out there, but this time he sees seaweed, and of course he has to say, seaweed.
Which, helpful for those that don't know what seaweed looks like, or thought that didn't look like seaweed. So then it's at this point that McClure gets sent down for a third time, and it's while he's down here on the third time that he finds the dog tags.
Is this the third time? This is like
this
the
is
fourth
the third.
or fifth
No, this is
time.
the third time. I counted them. There was 4 times. This is the third time he went down, And on the third time, he finds the dog tags. And when he comes back up, he shows them to the captain. And at first, the captain's just like talking. He doesn't really pay much attention to the dog tags in his hand until McClure says, "You're going to want to look at these dog tags, sir."
Yeah, and the next scene, the captain is giving Bell the dog tags, like, these look familiar, and Bell tells his story to the captain of the sub sinking. He's like, I was supposed to be on infrared filter, and he kind of fucked up, and he dropped it, and the Japanese saw the light, and they started to open fire on the sub.
I mean, he would definitely feel guilty, props to the captain for like trying to make him feel better and be like, it's not your fault, like it's a war, things happen, but at the same time too, like, I could definitely see why he would blame himself. Like, he had an accident, like...
And then being the only one that survived.
Being the only one that survived, and also being the one that caused it would just make you feel even shittier. But, like, yeah, he definitely... You can't explain that he didn't cause it, because, I mean, he did. Like, he dropped the light that let everyone know their location and to get fired upon, so...
I could hear the voices of our guys. They were, I was screaming!
All right, folks, don't sit up. All right now.
Yeah, I know what it was now. I should be dead. Bell. See? And all this noise, see? This pounding, this clanging, that's them guys down there. They're calling muster on me.
Bell, I want you to...
Very good performance.
Very good performance. What is muster?
I guess it would probably be like...
I mean, I get the point of the expression. I just have never heard the word muster. They're calling muster on me.
Pulling muster on me, like now it's time to pay the piper type of thing. But captain says, "Come on now, listen to me. Not one man does not sink a ship. It's not your fault, man.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault."
Bell puts his dog tags on and goes, "I gotta go, sir. They're calling my muster," and he just fucking goes nuts.
Books it out, runs down the hallway. The
They're
doctor,
calling muster on me.
The doctor and the captain are both chasing after him, being like, "Come back here, come back here!" And we get a good shot of him just jumping off the starboard side, and
like. I like the whole man overboard. Instead of, like, you'd think one brave soul would, like, dive down and they all get into a boat, take 10 fucking minutes to get down. Like, he would have been drowned already by that point.
Well, then also the boat's not moving.
Mm-hmm.
So how is he? I mean, like,
how do you lose him?
How do you lose him? And also, how would you drown yourself? He's not like, there's no like heavy weight on him. Like, he'd have to intentionally swim so far down.
I was really hoping that, like, what the really creepy thing would have been when the diver goes in and you see that he sees a look of fear, but you don't get to see what if
the ghosts pull him.
No, what if when the diver was in the submarine, we saw Bell was in there. That would have been cool as shit.
That would have been a really cool twist. I would have liked that,
but we don't get that in this episode. They say that they've been searching for 10 hours. We can't find the body. Rescue team should probably be on that sub now. And the next shot, they are on that sub, and the divers and another guy are inside the sub. We see he has a fearful expression on his face. We don't get to see what he sees, but
what we did see of this sub was cool. Very dark and like dripping everywhere, and
like
really cool
and
set.
Stuff. Very cool. The next scene, diver's talking to the captain. He's like, "It was a wreck inside, sir. The periscope was hanging. It was making a noise." And he's like, that's what was making the noise, right?"
Right.
And then he's like, "Well, there were 8 men in there, or what was left of them, in the control room, and one of them was holding a hammer."
Do you know the Star Wars meme where it's Anakin and Padme, and she says like, "It's
right?
something, right? Right?"
And then the captain's like, "Well, just save that part for the story you tell your grandkids." And then the captain's like, "That's the worst thing about war, I think. Not just what it does to the body, but what it does to the mind."
That was a good
line. It is true, but it's cheesy.
Yeah, but a good line, good message all around. And
then Rod brings us out.
Small naval engagement. The month of April, 1963. Not to be found in any historical annals. Look for this one filed under H for haunting in the Twilight Zone.
And that is our episode. Tyler, what did you learn?
I learned a fathom is 6 feet, and if you're ever stuck in a sunken submarine, try the torpedo tubes.
All right, we'll jump right into ratings. IMDb currently has this at a 7.2 out of 10, which I would agree with if this was a 24-minute. I think it could possibly be in the 7.5 range. I could definitely. It is good, but the fucking length, man, kills me so bad. So I'll go first.
Kids these days, short attention spans.
No, I can watch some fucking stuff. Something about this really bothered me.
All right, Cloudy Rain Cloud. What are you giving this as a score?
3.
3?
Yeah.
Really?
I really dislike this episode. It has potential. I know the performance is good. The story's really good. The plot, everything about it's good. Just the length fucking really kills me.
Wow, our biggest gap yet. I gave this a 7.
Wow.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great mystery. The acting was really well done. The shots were really well. It was a good episode. It did drag a little upon second rewatch, but definitely the first time watching it, I didn't feel like it was too long. And it definitely could be enhanced by shortening it. I think if we were to take an episode and shorten it and see if
this would be a
great one to do it at, because it already has such great bones. And there is some fluff you could probably take out, I'm sure. But
I think I would definitely make it so that the first time the diver goes down, he finds the dog tags and the number. Like, going down that many times is stupid.
I think it makes sense for the story wise though.
And then going back and forth between the infirmary is just a lot of 1, 2, 3, like captain, infirmary, diver, captain, and it just keeps doing that same pattern. It gets so repetitive. You're like, oh my God, when's this going to end?
I disagree. I think it worked for this, but.
Who are they? Where are they? What are they? Let's find out together in the Twilight Gnome presents Inside the Twilight Zone.
All right, let's wash this filth of this whole episode away here. I don't know what this thing just gets me in a bad mood. I've always hated this episode.
Gets you salty.
It does. Hey. All right, so Mike Keelan, he played Chief Bell. He was in 1 Hitchcock Presents, 1 Lost in Space, 1 Gunsmoke, 1 Kojak, 1 Starsky and Hutch, just a bunch of shows from the 50s to 70s. But the most important thing that he was in 3 episodes of Mr. Peepers.
Sex fiend. Sex fiend. Sex fiend. Sex fiend. Hey, I'll get a towel. Sex fiend. Ellie's not that kind of a girl. Sex fiend.
Been way too long since we got to play that one.
That's been quite a while.
Then we have Simon Oakland. He played Captain Beecham. He was in 2 Twilight Zones. You remember which one he was in? Did I tell you? Or
I think you told me, but I already forgot.
He plays De Cruz in the Rip Van Winkle caper.
Yep.
He was also in just quite a few TV shows and stuff, but his biggest claim to fame where he was in the movie Psycho and the movie West Side Story. I have not seen either of those, so I don't know who he plays.
I saw Psycho. Was he
I don't know.
The main guy that was in love with Marion Crane?
Norman Bates?
No, the guy that she's actually with, or she's stealing money.
I'll have to watch it. That's definitely something I want to watch, older Hitchcock stuff.
Yeah.
Then we have David Schneider. He played the Doctor. He was in 3 Studio Ones, 1 Perry Mason, 2 Gunsmoke, 1 Bonanza, just kind of the working actor of the time in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. The ship that they used to film was actually decommissioned. Now get this. This was kind of cool Twilight Zone-y coincidence thing here. The ship they used that they filmed on and all that, it was decommissioned August 11th, 1983.
1983?
Yes, it was decommissioned.
So they filmed on it while it was still working?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it was decommissioned in 1983. Mike Keelan, the guy that played Chief Bell, he died August 26th of 1983. And Simon Oakland, the guy that played the captain, died August 29th, just 3 days later, 1983. So the ship was decommissioned, and then 2 weeks later, Bell died, and then 3 days later.
I mean, if they both died on the same day, and that same day was the day that the ship was decommissioned, then it'd be a cool coincidence. But just following vaguely around at the same time, no.
The coordinates given were the Solomon Sea, which is actually kind of where they were. A fathom is 6 feet, roughly. It used to be just based on a man's wingspan, but they settled with 6 feet, which puts
and
30
we lost
fathom.
our wings.
Yes, and that puts us down to about 180 feet, which is deep, but it's not crazy deep. It makes the title sound so foreboding, the 30 Fathom Grave. How big's a fathom? 6 feet.
Yeah.
In total, this episode cost $116,274. Pretty expensive, but I don't believe it's the most expensive.
Well, they had a whole boat they had to rent, and then also some underwater scenes to film.
True. The director received $3,618. I believe that's up there for, like, the most expensive director.
Yeah.
And the cast received $11,259.
What'd you say your name was?
What's in the name, Mr. Benninger, really? It's a mere question of semantics. Just language. A mere stretch of words.
So every week, Tyler and I come up with a few alternative titles to the episode we are watching. This week, I have 3.
I have 6.
All right, go for it.
All right, I'll do my debacle first. I got Death in the Depths debacle.
Ooh. I have The Diving Debacle.
Oh, nice. I have Sunken Sailors.
I have Ghost Ship.
I have For Whom the Sub Tolls.
Yep. Do one more.
I got Survivor's Guilt.
Mm-hmm. I have The Call to the Void.
And my last 2, Sounds from Below and Dead in Water.
Oh, I guess I'd actually have another one. They're Calling Muster.
Yeah.
It's kind of dumb, but it's what I took away from this. Switcheroos.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5.
I should also mention that if you guys want to contribute to the new name segment, you can. The best way to do it would probably be comment it in last week's video, I would say.
Yeah, or on Facebook when we post the picture of what next week is going to be.
Yes, one of those two would definitely be ideal. But, I mean, you could also email us for that, or whatever you guys want to do. But we'd love it if someone contributed to the new name segment. But Switcheroos, you said you had what, 5?
I have 5.
I have 4. So you want to go for it?
Yep, I got Judgment Night.
I do not have that. I have Death Ship.
Yep, I had that one. The Grave.
Yep, I got that. One more Pallbearer.
I have Death's Head Revisited.
Oh, pretty good. I didn't have that. Back There.
And my last one is The Seventh is Made Up of Phantoms.
I got Long Distance Call.
Yeah. You are now about to penetrate the Twilight Zone.
Like I stated earlier, this would be pretty funny as a porno because of that whole, hold on, we're hearing something. We're picking something up on the sonar. And it would be called The Dirty Gasm Crave.
Yeah? All right, so quite a little haul here. None of them directly referencing this episode, but a lot of different movies and TV shows, and even a book that kind of spiritual successors. So first off, we have The Fog from 1980 and the 2005 remake, in which survivors of a shipwreck caused by townsfolk's greed are haunted and killed by ghostly sailors when the fog rolls in and the guilt of the living draws the ghosts back. And they also have the 2002 movie Ghost Ship. Though not about the survivors returning, it involves the discovery of a haunted wreck where the spirits of the dead remain trapped, influencing newcomers to the site. And then there's the 2002 movie Below, which is set on a World War II submarine, and it's the surviving crew is haunted by guilt and literal ghosts after a cover-up involving the deaths of other sailors. So that one's probably the closest we got here. There's also an episode of Supernatural called Red Sky at Morning. Survivors of a shipwreck are marked by ghost ships and drawn mysteriously unless a curse is lifted. And then, last but not least, a Stephen King book from 2008 called Duma Key, in which a supernatural connection to the drowned victims of a shipwreck gradually pulls the protagonist back to the sea. And then also I had to, as just a small aside here, Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, very, very similar about, like part of the ship, part of the crew, Davy Jones' locker, kind of ghosts and stuff like that. So
Pretty good haul. All right, so every week Tyler picks the episodes, and he does so by showing me an AI-generated picture. I play a little game where I have to guess what it is, and I really hope that after he put me through that, it's one that I kind of enjoy.
So next week is going to be our special 4th of July episode.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that.
So there's really only a few that it could be.
All right.
But do you want to guess before I show you the picture?
Yes.
You basically have a 50-50 shot here. Because
Um,
you know which ones I had listed, earmarked as quote-unquote 4th of July themed episodes.
But which one will it be? I think you're going to go with the Mighty Casey.
You ready?
Yep. You did not. You went with Walking Distance.
Walking Distance it is.
All right. Next week for our 4th of July special, Walking Distance. This is a very good one. Did you like it?
It's fine.
All right. It's crazy how much we differ on things. It's insane how sometimes we meet and it's like, yep,
Yeah,
that's what it needs
of
to
course
be.
this episode's here, and then other times, literally this episode's the biggest gap. It's a 4-point difference. So
yeah, we've had quite a few.
I think 3.5.
Quite a few 3.5s, but never a 4.
Yeah.
All right. I almost did it 3.5 as well, but I was like, no, I can't do it. Like I said, this would probably be like, I would agree with you if this was 24 minutes. I could definitely see it, but I won't get back into that.
All right.
30 Fathom Grave is behind us now. We're looking forward to Walking Distance. It's going to be a very good palate cleanser.
You are about to receive a message from the 5th dimension.
All right, so got a few comments to read this week. One is from our Top 10 Twists episode from Beth Joyner. Beth says, I like the one where the man comes back to life at his funeral. James Best starred. And The Pond, the man and his dog drown, then have a choice of heaven or hell.
I guess it's always Jeff Myrtlebank and The Hunt.
Yeah, both really good
Both good
episodes.
episodes.
I like the, I guess you call it more like Western-themed episodes. Those always have a fun little vibe to
Because
them.
those ones aren't really, those are like more backwoods than westerny. Kind of like hillbilly.
Yeah, I guess that'd be a better term. And then another comment we got is on our top 10 funniest episodes from Alan R4447. Alan says, I like The Mind and the Matter as one of his favorite funniest episodes.
It is a good one. Shelley Berman, obviously in the context of knowing that he plays Larry's dad in Curb and stuff makes it funnier, but that is still a good episode. And if you haven't checked out our episode that we just did on The Mind and the Matter a month ago, check it out.
Yeah.
All right, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you guys could please continue to like and subscribe on YouTube. I think we're at like 191, 192 or something.
Ooh, getting
which
close.
I didn't think that we were going to get 200 till at least Christmas. I mean, fucking don't count your chickens until they hatch.
Don't count your hens until they chicken.
But it looks like we're going to be pretty close to that by the end of the summer, at least.
Yeah, excited.
Maybe even 4th of July.
Ooh.
We'll see. But it means the world to us, guys. Fucking, I think this time last year we were looking at like fucking 11 subscribers or something. I know that those top 10 videos have helped out tremendously in the subscriptions, but thank you to everyone who continues to come back to these main podcasts week in, week out. We really do enjoy recording them, even if I didn't like the episode like this one. I still have a good time.
And we hope that you guys enjoy the episodes, whether or not you're a fan of the actual episode of The Twilight Zone or if you're a fan of just us talking about the episode. So Thank you guys.
Thank you very much. And if you need to get a hold of us for any other reason, you can email us at twilightgnome59@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out that Facebook page. Give that a like and follow because we post some stuff on there. And I also forgot, like 10 days ago, I tested the waters and posted on the a little poll on YouTube with the who's your favorite reoccurring Twilight Zone cast member. And Burgess Meredith is in the lead by like 63%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think it's got like 16 or 17 votes. So if you guys want to vote on that, I also am trying to think of like what day would make the best. Should I have like Sunday polls, or is it too close to the Friday release date? Maybe do it like Tuesday.
Middle of the week,
polls.
yeah. Tuesday, right in the middle of the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll start doing that on Tuesdays. I'll drop polls.
Dropping poll Tuesday.
So get ready, Nomies. I'm dropping poll on Tuesday.
Sex fiend.
Sex fiend.
All right. Until then, Ty, I have my final question for you. Would you ever go in a submarine? Or have you ever been in a submarine?
I've been in a submarine, but not while it's submerged. Wait, have I been in a submarine? Does the submarines at Disneyland count?
I don't think so. Are they completely submerged underwater?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah. I mean, you're like under a foot of water, though, but I mean, technically, I've been in a submarine.
I guess.
The Finding Nemo submarines.
Would you go into one that's actually gone like crazy?
Like super deep underwater?
Yeah. Like
no.
Go see the Titanic?
I would I would go into a submarine, like an active submarine, if it was like docked and I wasn't gonna be underwater.
Yeah.
If I had like a means of
If it was
escape.
in a shipyard.
Yeah. But otherwise, no, I wouldn't go into one. Be too claustrophobic.
Yeah. I think I had the same. There's no way. That's just so much could go wrong.
Yeah.
No escape plan. I think I would rather be in an airplane that's going down than in a submarine that's fucking like about to be torpedoed.
I mean, I guess it depends on your preferred method of death, drowning or
well, in the plane
falling.
you could survive.
Like Peggy Hill?
There was actually, I forget where I was listening to it on some podcast. They were just talking about this, that some lady.
Yeah, she was like the stewardess, and they crashed into a mountain, but like
No, she
somehow...
fell like 2 miles and landed in the Amazon.
Oh, I heard a different one about like
and actually survived.
Different
the fall.
woman fell. She was like the stewardess, and like she was like pinned against the food cart thing somehow, and that like helped preserve her organs or whatever. And she laid in the Himalayas.
Even though
or
it might
something.
be like a 1 in a million shot, you at least have a shot with the plane. Where I highly doubt if you were in a sub and it got hit.
And then
you're
also,
fucked.
I mean, if you survive, then you're floating in the middle of the ocean somewhere. It's scary too.
Yeah.
Ocean's
So no submarine.
The ocean's a scary place.
Very scary. But until then, Ty, do you have anything to say to our dear, dear gnomies out there?
Yes, thank you all for stepping in the Twilight Gnome with us.
It's 4 o'clock, the howling man is gone. Frisbee's telling stories, Mr.